Hello, good afternoon. The interpreters cannot hear the chairperson. The interpreters cannot hear the chairperson. Is there any technician around, please?
Can you hear the English speaker now? English interpreter?
Testing, can you hear us? Testing, can you hear?
Is anybody on the floor? We cannot hear.
He says he can hear.
But we cannot hear.
No.
Can they say
he's
something?
Confirming he can hear. Zalabi is saying.
No. Yes, now
Yes,
it's like
yes.
fine now.
It's okay. Thank you to all the participants. We crave your indulgence and we apologize for this technical glitch. Today is the 11th day of our meeting, 27 October 2024. I was saying that I acknowledge the Vice Chair, Commissioner Ramatlai Salanjai, as well as all the honorable commissioners who are seated at the podium for their presence on the second to last day of the public session. I recognize states that are still with us, and I like to express our gratitude to them on behalf of all the commissioners: Algeria, Cameroon, Angola, Eritrea, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, and the South African Republic, and Malawi. I see the nameplate of DRC, but they do not seem to be present in the hall. The agenda is item 10. We will have a small closing ceremony where at the end of the first part of the public session will adjourn afterwards to 6th of November for the closing of the full session. Before we do that, in 10-15 minutes at most, we'll try to discuss and review the session and have the viewpoints on what worked, areas of concern, so that the government can ponder over these challenges. But after that item, commissioners would stay for a private session because we need to consider the agenda of the private session, which will start next week for 10 days. But before that, there's a right to reply from Eswatini. So Eswatini has requested for the floor because they wish to clarify a number of matters that we expressed here. I now give the floor to Eswatini for the right to reply. You have the floor.
My delegation's right of reply in regard to the report presented yesterday under item 5 by Honorable Commissioner Lita Musiimi Ogana. Since the text of the report was not available in the sessions portal when it was presented yesterday, my delegation was unable to react then. Mr. Chairperson, in section D of the report states that the Honorable Commissioner attended a side event on Eritrea on 21st June 2024 during the 56th session of the UN Human Rights Council held in Geneva. The event was organized by individuals and groups motivated by anti-Eritrean agenda. Their motivation is not the promotion of human rights. My delegation fails to understand the Commission's decision to be associated with such nefarious elements. The state of Eritrea, the state of Eritrea engages constructively with the SHPR. It submits periodic reports, attends the sessions of the Commission regularly, and addresses issues raised by the Commission. During the course of this session, my delegation has already expressed its strong reservation on the incident to the Honorable Commissioner in person. However, since the side event was included in the report, my delegation opted to reiterate its reservation for the record. I thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I submit.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for your statement. We have taken note. We have taken note of that reservation, and the Commission will I don't know what is the practice. Can you make a reservation to a report made by a commissioner to annex it? We can do it, huh? Yes, the Secretariat is saying it's something that can be done. Thank you very much. You will give us that reservation, and the Secretariat will annex it on the text of the report.
I have already delivered it to the Secretariat.
Okay, if we have already it is something that we should take it in consideration. Thank you. Thank you very much, Excellency. Maintenant, je vais... South Africa. Yeah, South Africa.
No, thank you very much, Chair. This is just a matter of clarification. We were just wondering as to when we will be able to just do a closing statement. It's not a right of reply, my apologies. We just wanted to clarify if you can give us an opportunity just for a closing statement. That's the only issue we wanted to raise. Thank you.
Si vous avez une déclaration à faire, bon, pas de clôture, mais je suppose que c'est une déclaration sur le human rights situation in Africa. You can make it again. It's for?
It's a congratulatory statement. I'm sure you'd love that, Chair.
Ah, ok. C'est comme une espèce de motion pour féliciter la commission. Il n'y a pas de problème. You can take the floor now, sir, to make it. No problem.
Should I proceed?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Chair, thank you very much. And again, we want to say again to thank the Chair and the commissioners for a very productive session. Chair, we wanted to just thank you for a very productive session. This session for us has given us a pace, energy, and focus, which we believe as a delegation augurs well for the continent and the sixth region, and in particular, the Agenda 2063. We wanted to just make this point. We also have, during this session, learned quite a few things, especially from yourself and also the commissioners. One big lesson which we wanted to make was on punctuality. We've been participating in many meetings at the level of the AU and elsewhere. But the notion of timekeeping for us as member states, we think is a very fundamental issue. It might appear like it's a small thing, but it just leads to disorganization. And we wanted to just make this point to encourage you and the commissioners to keep this pace for a variety of reasons. Meetings that do not stick to time end up being counterproductive. It might look like a small thing, but there's a certain element to it that speaks to many aspects of our work. And also, we wanted to just express our appreciation to the participation of political principals. One cannot keep silent when there are members of the cabinet that come and participate here, especially those that were led by ministers. We have made our contribution as a delegation here quite cognizant of the challenges that are facing the Commission, facing member states, civil society, and all the participants here. In that context, we were happy to be requested to make the presentation again on the Nelson Mandela Scholarship Program, which we're quite happy to say that the 65 scholarships have been offered. And again, after the discussions yesterday, one could not help but reflect on the other issue that came up in the panel discussion. What I regard as a missing element in the participation of the private sector and or foundations. We just wanted to request the Bureau, the commissioners and yourself, Chair, to look at the role and the participation of foundations. This is This aspect is being made against an experience during the COVID period in 2020 when our own president was faced with the coordination of the COVID response. We were able to raise the initial funding for the COVID response fund from the billionaires in the continent in the private sector. We think there is scope for a special categorization of the private sector and or foundations, if possible, that can be considered so that they are able to contribute as much as they can to the resource mobilization which we alluded to yesterday. The fact that some of the sessions are not being held because of the lack of funding is of extreme concern to our delegation, and therefore we're making this proposal in that context. Again, I'm making this proposal for your consideration, noting very well that, at least in the context of my own delegation in our backyard in South Africa, our former Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, whom you know very well, Dr. Naledi Pandor, has been appointed as the chair of the Nelson Mandela Foundation. And we are mentioning this without committing her by all means, but we think it would be a strategic engagement to also look at how to utilize her position as a former minister to mobilize resources for this commission as well. I think you were probably the luckiest in a sense because the Nelson Mandela Foundation approached us to speak to this particular commission, and we think there can be an opportunity there to utilize. So we leave it up to your hand, but we certainly will be able to facilitate that kind of engagement formally, should you wish. And I just thought we should just make these few points again to make sure that our follow-up to the thematic issues that were raised here, Agenda 2063 being one major issue, and especially the right to education, through which the scholarships fit in perfectly well. And again, the role of the private sector, when you look at the notion of business and human rights, those are issues that are interlinked, and we just wanted to make those few comments in our closing statement. Well, thank you very much for this productive session. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup à Son Excellence, Monsieur l'Ambassadeur d'Afrique du Sud. Nous partageons ce succès de gestion du temps avec tous les commissaires. Je pense qu'ensemble, nous avons fourni des efforts pour que le flottement en matière de temps puisse ne pas perturber cette session. L'ensemble de 11 commissaires, je pense qu'ils peuvent être contents, heureux de voir que nous avons un retour dans la salle comme quoi.
Feedback from the room that with regards to time management, the Commission did well. We have taken note of your recognition on the participation of the government, as well as this issue of fellowship, Nelson Mandela Fellowship. This Commission had welcomed this resolution that you have proposed for this phenomenal human rights defender who was Nelson Mandela. And of course, we are not neglecting other freedom fighters in Africa, other icons. We welcome this with regards to the scholarships this year from the Nelson Mandela Foundation, that these scholarships are availed people on the continent. And we will stay in contact with you to see how we can make this official so that you can avail Africans this opportunity. We were requested to announce this information here at the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. Thank you, Excellency, for that statement. It's in line with what we had in the agenda. The feedback or review of the session is Swatini.
from you as chair and the commissioners that you lead. Your flexibility and accessibility to issues are very much commendable, and I just wish to say keep up the very good spirit. I thank you, Chair. I'm sorry that you have already commented, so I don't expect you to say anything because my comment now has been overtaken by events. I was hoping to quickly come immediately after him. I thank you, Excellency.
Merci beaucoup, Excellence, Monsieur l'Ambassadeur. L'ensemble des commissaires.
Ambassador, we have taken due note of your comments. Is there any state who would like to make a comment? All I would like to do is share with you a clarification shared by the Secretariat.
Commissioner will take note of the right to reply that you have expressed. She will take note, and we will indicate in our final communique that we are going to issue on 6th of November. We'll take note of the reservation that you have made. We'll put also it in the activity report to the policy organs, that to that one you have expressed a reservation. But we don't publish the text itself, but it will be reflected in the communiqué final and the activity report to be presented to the policy organ. This is the practice in the organ. This is why, the reason why I was consulting our executive secretary for better advices. Okay? Thank you, Excellency. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Ceci nous amène alors à la fin. Je voudrais...
of this portion, and on behalf of the institution that you yourselves have put in place, Your Excellency, ambassadors and state representatives, I would like to thank you. I have Egypt added to my list, so it means we have 9 states present at this particular time of the closing of this first portion of our session. It means that 1/5 of Africa is here. We are happy with this number. We are happy with this number because we cannot wait for all the 54 member states who are parties to the Charter. So for us, this current number, it's satisfactory, and we would like to express our thanks for your commitment when we are here to talk about issues relating to human rights. We have tried this year at the end to request for your opinion on what has worked well and what has not worked. And all the same, we have received information that we have managed the time well, and we have taken due note. It does not mean that everything was rosy. There may be some things that did not work, and please let us know, and we will do an effort at the public session also to look at the issues ourselves, so that the next session would be hitch-free. We have taken due note of this possibility given by South Africa. The former Minister of Foreign Affairs of South Africa, she is a great lady, a great Pan-Africanist, and we can use her as a patron to mobilize the states. I would be behind support that move. I would also request the country rapporteur for South Africa, namely Commissioner Solomon Eri Dauso, not to hesitate, because he would be in South Africa. I also will try, the vice chair will try to talk to her that the commissioners have favorably received this proposal and that we would like her input. And we all know how she managed the deliberations, and we all know the reputation that she has vis-a-vis her colleagues. If there are any things that are not in place, she will not go to a hotel. She will stay all the time at the meetings, and commissioners would bear me witness. So this is not, I'm not flattering her, I'm just saying the truth. So on behalf of all the colleagues, we would like to thank you, dear state delegates. We would like to thank national human rights institutions. Thank you, NGOs. I believe you have seen the commitment that we all have. And commissioners, some of the commissioners have been here since the 10th of October. Some came on the 12th to participate not only in the NGO forum, but also in the NHRI forums, but also the pre-forum for the states. And the same thing will happen in 2025. So now, the public session stands suspended, and this would be closed officially at the last day. Those who are still in Banjul at that time, you are welcome. But if you have to go back to your countries, we will wish you a safe return, and it will be a pleasure to see you in 2025. If it is not in April, it will be in October, depending on the funds available. The session stands suspended, and see you next time.